She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hey, Barbie. Chloe. Period I, period 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 period I, got my name up in your mouth, you don't know no better. Don't forget I'm from the south, yeah, I got them headers. You watching everything I do, studying all of my moves. Wish you could do what I do. Period I, period period I, period period I, period period I, period.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. Now, I just came on here and I just did a live about METCALF, basically Austin METCALF, his father. And I found a better video on it that actually has better sound. So I actually wanted to come back on and play that for you guys so you guys can hear the clear sound. So basically, this is regarding METCALF. This is a tragedy stabbing that happened in Texas, and it involved a black kid who stabbed a white kid, and now it has spewed this racial divide. And so today, there was this Protect White Americans protest that was organized by this very sick, racist hate group. And they tried to call up Jeff and basically get Jeff on board to do a campaign with them. And Jeff was not having it. He went off on them. So I wanted to show you guys this article that I just found that I thought was actually really good. So here's the photo of these goofy people who did this protest. Now, the weird part is we got this other black clown here next to him that's pushing a Protect White campaign, which makes absolutely zero sense to me, because I don't know why they're doing this sick campaign, because there's really no threat to white lives as they're trying to make it look like. This had nothing to do with race or why this whole tragedy happened in the first place. But the man here who's in this goofy clown suit here, he's the organizer of this sick racist protest. And so let's just take a look at this article here. His name is Jake Lang and Philip Anderson. They were both pardoned by President Donald Trump after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. And they led a protest of Protect White Americans, condemning the killing of Austin METCALF as anti-white violence. So these two sick people on the screen here, they were a part of that January 6th insurrection. And so they were the two individuals of the group that were pardoned. Oh, hi, Ellen. Sorry, I came back, girl. You're probably like, I'm seeing deja vu. I came back because I found this article about the protest. So I wanted to share it with you guys. That's why I'm back again. Sorry, Ellen. So what's crazy is that these two were a part of the January 6th protest, and Trump pardoned them. And so now they are using this tragedy to spew hatred and racial divide. And they're part of MAGA, basically. So let's read this article. They said a protest organized by a group of Protect White Americans purportedly to condemn the stabbing of Austin METCALF as an act of racial violence attracted more police officers and media representatives than supporters in Frisco on Saturday. But it led to an angry exchange between the protest organizers and Jeff METCALF, the father of the victim. 17-year-old Austin METCALF was fatally stabbed at a high school track meet in Frisco earlier this month. Carmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old high school senior, is charged with first-degree murder in that stabbing. The stabbing has received national attention, all because of it's a race situation. It's so sick. Many posts on social media have racist undertones. Anthony is black and METCALF is white. Jake Lang, who was amongst the people pardoned by President Donald Trump after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, and Philip Anderson, whose January 6th case was dismissed, stood on top of a bus in the parking lot of David Kundil Stadium on Saturday where the stabbing occurred. So they're sick. And this video right here that I'm going to play has better volume than the one I played earlier. That's why I wanted to come back and play it for you guys. But these individuals are all a part of the President Trump campaign. Yeah, they're on this type of racist campaign. Yeah, the January Sixers girl. Isn't this crazy? It gets worse. That's why I wanted to come back and share this with you. Yesum said, does this goofy black man own a mirror? Right, that's what I'm saying. Yesum, do he not know that he is black? White man is using him while still hating him. Doofus. Exactly. And that black man was a part of the January 6th protest. So it's like, it's sick. It's actually worse than what I thought when I came on earlier. I didn't know who these guys were. That's why I saw this article. But this video is going to have way better volume. So I wanted to play it for you guys. And we'll go ahead and play it now.
Americans. Fight.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jake Lang here.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time. And I don't understand, as I was a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son. There is an epidemic problem in this country, and your voice could be one of the loudest voices in this country, but you've chosen to recoil out of fear and continue the suppression. Why will you not stand with me and with the rest of the people? We're not calling for racial divide. We're not calling for hatred. We're saying 350,000 attacks on white people by black people a year in this country is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices if he was still alive today.
Are you done?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap. I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
But my son, let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. You are creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness.
In history, this is the ship where white people will no longer.
Absolutely sick. Did you hear that? So they're waving their little Trump flags, as you can see, standing on this bus. And did you hear what the sick man had to say? He's talking about he grew up as a white man in America and he was afraid because black people were robbing and harming people. First and foremost, black people are not the only individuals that commit crimes in America. White people commit crime, Mexican commit crime, Asian commit crime. It's a national issue amongst all individuals in the United States. His disgusting, and he talks about, I'm not trying to spew racial divide. I'm just saying we need to protect white people. Boy, bye. That is absolutely disgusting what he was saying. I'm like, let's play that back really quick, what he says at the beginning, because that part was disgusting.
Americans. Fight.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jake Lang here.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Jeff, first of all, my entire heart rests in your hands. I would be in my position, not even as somebody even knew your son, but somebody that shares the same understanding. I grew up as a 17-year-old young white man too, and I grew up in fear of my life around black people because they were killing and robbing people around me all the time. And I don't.
That comment alone is absolutely disgusting. First of all, I grew up as a 17-year-old kid, as well. And there were black people were killing and robbing people all the time. He's trying to narrow this down to try to make it look like black people are the only individuals in this country that commit crime. And then he turns around and gives this fake condolences at the beginning when he has absolutely zero remorse for the death of Austin. He just is using Austin's death as an opportunity for himself to spew his Trump hatred. This man is a MAGA supporter. He is a January 6er who basically tarnished and killed and unalived law enforcement at our capital, our national capital. If he wasn't the one that did it, but he was a part of that violence that ended up led to the death of law enforcement and other individuals at the Capitol. And they were also trying to harm even the political leaders there. So this man is disgusting. He's trying to use fake condolences. He's trying to generalize and spew his hatred and then turn around and backtrack and say, oh, I'm not trying to divide people. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my intention, when that's his very intention. And like I was telling you guys yesterday, that I told you that Jeff Metcalf is a good man. He is a humble Texan who doesn't have hatred in his heart. And he realizes that this was not about race or anything. It was just two kids that were bickering and had a disagreement. So I want to play this again and just kind of break down those parts.
Understand, as I was a father, you could sit idly by and not condemn the culture that killed your son. There is an epidemic.
So after he gives his fake condolences, he turns around and starts blaming the father, saying, I don't understand how you can sit idle and not blame the culture that killed your son. First of all, it has nothing to do with a culture. It has to do with this man's sick, demented mind, who is trying to use and capitalize off of a tragic situation. This is what a lot of these MAGA supporters do. They're sick, demented individuals in our country who want nothing more but to spew their racist agenda. And now that Trump is the president, they feel emboldened to go around and campaign and basically announce their hatred to the country because they have no fear now. They're more emboldened.
Epidemic problem in this country, and your voice could be one of the loudest voices in this country, but you've chosen to recoil out of fear and continue the suppression. Why will you not stand with me and with the rest of the people? We're not calling for racial divide. We're not calling for hate.
And notice the flag he's waving. He's going around waving. He's not waving an American flag, which is the symbol of unity. It's supposed to be a symbol of unity of our country, right? He's waving a Trump flag. He's promoting a symbol of hate, because as we already know, Trump is out here deporting minorities that are legally here, not people that are illegally here, people who actually have, legal grounds for being here. He's deporting those people. And I believe he's deporting them based upon the color of their skin, because he's trying to get out as many minorities as he can. So him waving the Trump flag instead of the United States flag shows a demonstration of his hatred and racial divide.
We're saying 350,000 attacks on white people by black people a year in this country.
350,000 attacks on whites by blacks per year. Where does he get those numbers? Where does he get these statistics? He's making up these numbers out the side of his ASS. He's using fake numbers. He has no credibility. This man is a complete fraud. He just wants to use this as a way to try to embolden and inflame the white community.
Is wrong. Why can't you stand that and say with that? Maybe you can. Would you be willing to stand by me in a press conference or in an individual interview and talk about this issue that is larger than Austin at this point? God rest the beautiful young man's soul that would have been one of our strongest voices.
So then he turns around and he disgraces the legacy and the dignity of Austin by trying to say Austin would be standing with these group of racists and would be campaigning for this MAGA division and hatred divide, which is not true. Because Austin was not a racist. Austin had black friends. And like I said in my other video, Austin's black friend actually came out and spoke on his social media, talking about what a great kid Austin was. So Austin would not be standing with these racist people. He has black friends that he supports. And this man is trying to basically use this fake condolences to basically promote his sick agenda. It's just disgusting.
If he was still alive today.
Are you done?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, my turn to speak. You are part of the problem, my friend. You're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap.
See, I told you how honorable Jeff McAuliffe is. Jeff McAuliffe first said, "Are you done?" Then he said, "You are part of the effing problem, my friend. You are trying to create more racial divide than trying to bridge the gap." And that's exactly what Jeff's father wants to do. He doesn't want his child to be linked to racism and discrimination and divide. He wants his child's legacy to be, something positive. He also is trying to raise money to have a scholarship in the name of his son, not to try to have his son be polluted by MAGA agenda and their racial sick campaign that they're trying to use, Austin for.
I do not condone anything you do. You do not have any.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
Of my son.
And did you hear him? This man just couldn't help himself because he's really a sick, demented man in his mind that he couldn't even allow this mourning, grieving father to speak. He had to turn around and continue to blame and chastise this grieving father. It's disgusting. It's immense. Like I said, I feel like it's some type of either, like you said, Ellen, he could be either an idiot or just mental health issues.
Let me finish. I give you your time. You take my son's face off your website. I am not associated with you.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
And now he turned around and tells this grieving father that he is going to create more Austin Metcalfs, which is not even true at all. The sick stuff he's saying. It's disgusting. He's like, this is a demonstration to you that these sick MAGA people that are on this thing, you can even see, look at the bus, guys. The bus has a photo of Trump here with his fist in the air. And the fist in the air is really a Black Power symbol. So Trump has took a Black Power symbol and now he's trying to use it for white racism and supremacy. It's disgusting. Disgusting. This is the Black Power symbol that Trump uses a lot now. And he's trying to use it for like white power and white supremacy. And look at all the sick stuff that's on here. And then look, Jesus, you trying to promote Jesus something, I don't know, that says saved. How could you promote Jesus? Do you think Jesus really is going to be proud of a person who is spewing hatred and racial divide? Like the sickness, that's why I was telling you that I think it's a mental illness, because I'm like, he's not even using rationality. Jesus doesn't stand for hate. Jesus does not stand for racial divide. It's just disgusting. And right, like Yesem said, that Black doofus would be the type to snitch on blacks planning to escape slavery way back in the day. He'd go to tell Massa. Exactly, Yesem. That is exactly the energy he is giving. And like Ellen says, MAGA is so brainwashed. Pretty sure MAGA didn't read the Bible for real. Just like Trump never read the Bible. And when he was sworn in allegedly this time, he wouldn't even touch that Bible because he knew he's a straight up demon. He's a demon. So yeah, guys, sorry I had to come back and do another video on this, but I found that really good article and I was like, oh my God, I had to share this with you guys because it had a better footage and it actually shares the background. Now, Lang, who's now okay, guys, let me tell you guys something. So the sick guy that was on that video who was blaming Austin's dad, can you believe it? He is now running for office. He is a Republican candidate. So Lang, the guy right here, this white guy with the goofy suit on, his name is Jake Lang, and he is a Republican candidate for the Senate seat in Florida, left vacant by Secretary of State Mark Rubio. So that's disgusting. He's going to be a Republican freaking Senate. That type of racist agenda is going to be in our freaking Congress. We're doomed, guys. If he wins, excuse my language, we're screwed. We're screwed because if he has that type of sick mindset, he is going to pass laws that further oppress and lock up and imprison Black people because he has a hatred for Black people. Let's read this part. It says, Lang, who's now a Republican candidate for the Senate seat in Florida, left vacant by Secretary of State Mark Rubio, told Jeff McAuliffe, Austin's father, over the phone that his son's stabbing was an act of anti-white violent. Lang said that METCALF should be standing on the bus with Lang and Anderson. METCALF, who spoke to Lang via speakerphone at the protest, told Lang he doesn't condone Lang's politicizing Austin's killing. You're trying to create more race divide you're trying to create more race divide than bridging the gap, Jeff Metcalf said. Lang said Metcalf was weak for not supporting his cause. That's so insensitive, guys. It's disgusting. These are the type of MAGA people that Trump's message and agenda stands for. He said, you're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir. And then you have the audacity to mock him by saying, sir, when you have absolutely zero respect for this man. He told the grieving father. That's disgusting. Bruce Carter, who called Metcalf at the protest and put him on speakerphone so he could talk to Lang, said it's inappropriate for Lang to use Austin Metcalf's death for his political agenda. Exactly. Oh my God, guys, this is so sick. Sometimes the stuff that I see going on in this country makes me just want to leave this place for real. It's just so disturbing. It is scary here. Anyway, they said at some point, whatever people want to push, they're going to push, Carter said. But when you use a person's child to push it, that's a problem, period. It is. You don't go and use this death to push your sick agenda when it had nothing to do with that. Carmelo never unalived Austin because he was white. And Austin never approached Carmelo because he was black. It just was happened to be that situation with. It's so disgusting. The Protect White Americans bus was emblazoned photos of Dr. Martin Luther King. And Dr. Martin Luther King didn't stand for this racism. So why would they have photos of Dr. Martin Luther King on there? President John F. Kennedy and President Donald Trump pumping his fist in the air after he was shot at a rally. Police stood in front of a barricade and a small group of counter protesters wearing N95 masks and sunglasses that were carrying signs condemning racism. No more lynch mob, they chanted. And they said, racism is not justice, due process for all. So a group of people who are against the discrimination came to this protest, and they also protested against this sick January 6er who's now becoming a Republican senator or candidate in Florida. Just disgusting. So I'm proud of these people who came and spoke against the racism. That is a sign of hope, but still. So counter protesters at the Protect White Americans protest over the unaliving of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf accused protest organizers of being racist. Yeah, there definitely are racist. It's very obvious. And they always try to act like they're not. And they want to gaslight the country by saying, oh, you guys are always saying we're racist when we're not, and blah, 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 when they clearly are. Anderson alluded to the low turnout at the protest. Exactly. He said supporters feared potential backlash. Whatever. Yeah, there probably are a lot of secret closet racists. All these people that agree with us, but they're in their cars right now because they're afraid to be seen on camera because they are afraid that they'll lose their job. He said they're afraid that someone will come to their home. Well, they shouldn't be out here spewing hatred, sir. Frisco police appeared to have arrested at least one counter protester on Saturday who apparently pepper sprayed someone else at the protest and escorted another person away from the site who was wearing clothing with Anthony on the back. Online vitriol. So both the Metcalf family and the Anthony family have faced threats following online backlash over what happened at the Frisco track meet. Anthony is on house arrest with an ankle monitor after being released from jail after a Collin County judge reduced his bail to $250,000 on Monday. And like I said, that is significantly less than the other white kid who is now facing trial for stabbing a Hispanic kid back in 2022, who got a $175,000 bail. And for that particular situation, that white kid stabbed the Hispanic kid several times. There was several stabbings in that kid. He got stabbed several times in the chest, in the right side, in the buttocks. He was stabbed multiple times. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I didn't go into the full story of it, but let's just show the picture of who I'm talking about really, really quickly. That's going on in trial right now. And we don't see any outrage about this story. So this story right here, where we had a white kid who stabbed a Hispanic kid several times, the autopsy now shows that he stabbed him at least 4 times. Whereas Carmelo only stabbed Austin one time just to get away. So the facts with this particular case was way more egregious, and he got a lesser bill. He got a $175,000 bill, whereas Carmelo had a $250,000 bill. Yet people are enraged by that. It's like, really, make it make sense. Like, the rage to me, it has everything to do with the fact that this Carmelo is black. So anyways, Frisco police confirmed that officers responded to a gunshot call at a home connected to Metcalf's family that turned out to be swatting. So people are swatting at the Metcalf family. Why would they do that to a grieving father? Why are they doing fake phone calls? It makes no sense, guys. Like, you're swatting a man who lost his son because that man is basically standing up against racism. So now they're punishing a grieving father, and we got white racists going after another white family who lost their son and using fake 911 calls to harass them. Sick. And it's like a revengeful tactic because Jeff METCALF spoke out in the Fox News interview and said this was not about race, and they need to stop trying to use it for political means to push their racial agenda, because he doesn't want his son to have this horrible negative stain of racism on his son's legacy. His son wasn't about that. Austin was not a racist. His son was just a regular kid just trying to make it and be successful with his twin brother. Okay? Who loved to go hunting, was athletic, very intelligent, and accomplished kid, you know? The Dallas Morning News reported a second swatting call at another Metcalf family home occurred Thursday night. Swatting involves making a malicious hoax call to emergency services to falsely report a violent crime with the intent to cause large-scale deployment of law enforcement, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Several police officers escorted Austin METCALF's father out of a press conference for the family of Carmelo on Thursday. Dominic Alexander, the president and CEO of Next Generation Action Network, which hosted the press conference. Oh, that's his name. That reverend that we saw yesterday that was acting a fool. His name is Dominic Alexander. He's the president and CEO of the Next Generation Action Network. That's his name. Okay. So anyway, he hosted that press conference. He said Jeff METCALF's presence at the press conference was disrespectful to his son's memory, which was so nasty of him to say. He said, it just shows you all the character. Alexander said he was not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near his family. And again, why was he trying to make it sound like Carmelo's family was the victim in this case when they're not? Okay. Kayla Hayes, Anthony's mother, said, her family has faced death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she is fearful of what might happen, Hayes said. A fundraiser on the website Give Send Go has raised about $458,762 on behalf of Anthony, on Anthony's behalf as of Thursday afternoon. Hayes said on Thursday the family hasn't received the funds yet, and she said they were notified they could withdraw the funds, which will take several days to process. So this is just like a review of everything, basically, that, you know, the stabbing and what happened. And we don't need to keep going over that. There's a lot of misinformation that's being spewed online, a lot of false reports. Let's see. The officer's just saying don't contribute to all the false reports that are going on. Yeah, he's facing first-degree murder, stuff like that. So I really feel like the facts in this case compared to the other case I was just showing you of the white kid who stabbed the Hispanic kid. And sorry, I'm just saying it like that. I'm just doing this because it seems like that's what they're focused on is ethnicity. It's so disgusting. But this particular story was way more egregious. There's video footage in this case, and the trial is occurring right now, and the autopsy shows that this kid stabbed that boy Jose 4 different times, if not more, whereas Carmelo only stabbed 1 time to get away. So I feel like it's less egregious as this story here, and yet people are enraged simply because Carmelo's black. Okay, it's disgusting. Yesem said, I think Austin's mother is leaning more toward the racist side. Yes, that's what I was telling you yesterday, Yesem. I haven't heard her support her husband. Exactly. And they're not married anymore, Yesem. So the Metcalfs are divorced. So that's why you don't see them together ever. They're always doing separate press conferences. This reminds me a lot of Shanquella. Remember when we used to cover the Shanquella story, and the father would have his separate interviews and the mom would have her separate interviews. That's the same thing that's happening here with Austin's parents. They're divorced. So I do agree with Yesem that Austin's mother is more on the racist type of side based on the interviews I've seen. She doesn't come out and say it, but she creates these inferences that inflame that whole racial rhetoric. Whereas Jeff is not. Jeff is a good, humble man who is not trying to use this as a racist agenda, because he is a good man who doesn't see people because of the color of their skin. So it's very sad. Yeah, Ellen, she says, seriously, everything going on today has me pondering Thailand or Bali. Yes, Ellen, I'm thinking about leaving too, girl. I'll go with you, girl. Okay, you and I can go together, because I'm just like, I don't know about this country anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say that, but it just sounds too scary to be here. Is it just me? Like, it just sounds scary. Ellen said if they did, they would know about false prophets and antichrist. Exactly. Right. She said, ew, no more idiot, evil senators. Right. We don't need any more of this sick, racist senators in our freaking capital. I'm scared he might win too, because, Florida is very deep red. Florida is the deepest Republican state, I believe. There's a lot of Republican states, but I feel like Florida is just not going to change. So I'm scared he might win. And that is not a good thing if he does, because you already see how sick he is. All right, guys. Sorry I had to come back on here and do another video on this same topic, but I feel like this article really explained a lot more. That protester, the organizer, is a January 6er who was a part of storming the Capitol and was basically pardoned by Trump. So he is a MAGA supporter, and that just makes the facts even worse and more demented, and how they're blaming and targeting this grieving father is disgusting. They could have just called Austin's mother, who would have been on board. I don't know why they're harassing the dad, because he's not for it. They're trying to get this grieving father to turn racist. They're trying to blame him and bully him and harass him and SWAT his home and all these things to try to get him to be racist. And he's just not that type of person. And it's so sad. Like, I can see where, if they're saying that these twins were bullies, they probably get it from the mom, because I'm just saying. Okay. I'm glad to be back too. Yesem. I love y'all so much. I miss you guys. Sorry, we've been doing a lot of like racial sensitive stuff lately. I don't mean to do that. It's not really my intention. I like to talk about all kinds of stories, but it just seems like this story has been a big story and something I've been wanting to talk about. So I'm hoping to get to more like general crime stories that we usually talk about, but it's just lately it's been a lot of like racially tense type stories, and it's just like so sad, Yeah, the times do call for it, Ellen. It just seems like that's all what it's about right now. It's really sad and unfortunate, but our country is in dark times, and I'm not sure when or if we will ever get out of it, but just know I love you guys all. I love everybody, and like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.